Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today, we're on the live server for update Spearhead. They have finally released it, and in this video, we're going to go through all of the changes that happened between the end of the dev server and the live server coming out. This means additions of profile pictures, changes to vehicles, and also even changes to game modes. We'll talk about all of these different things in this video, and also maybe a bit more. As always, when it comes to these things, remember that it takes a few days for the live server to, be in a proper state. There's probably going to be a few bugs here and there, hopefully nothing game-breaking, but if you do find anything, make sure to report it on the Gaijin.net issues site. Of course, when the game is stable, it's good for everybody. And if you enjoy these types of videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel and also like them. Let's get started with all of the updates. So, first of all, we have one to the VT4 and also the VT4A1. They've actually added a Spall liner to these things, which is kind of interesting. You can see it covering pretty much all of the turret here, and also the upper glacis and sides of the chassis here too. So this should actually give the crew a lot more survivability in the turret. Remember, it's a 3-man crew, so there's 1 guy here and 2 here. So what a Spall liner does is reduce Spall, and therefore the rounds won't be as effective. It'll be interesting to see how much this actually affects the survivability itself, but my general thoughts is usually it actually affects more top-down stuff, which stops, most of the Spall through this. So we'll see how much it affects it, but it's just kind of cool to see. The next vehicle, which is getting changed for ground, is the EBRC Jaguar. You can see that this vehicle is now ranked 7 and also 260,000 RP. This was 400,000 previously, and they have now pushed it down in BR, meaning that, down in rank and also research, making it easier to access, which I think is really good for the vehicle itself. They've also changed some pieces of its armor. For example, the suspension is slightly movable, so that will mean its survivability is a little bit better, but the actual armor that they've changed is in the vehicle itself. So pieces of it, such as the firewall armor between the whole front, so this bit here, this is actually now 20 millimeters instead of 10, and then also the Spall shield, which is this, which basically is between the engine and the crew, is now 12 millimeters instead of 5. So increased protection, not a ton for the vehicle, but a little bit, and we'll see how that goes on. There's also some target tracking news. You may remember that a lot of high-tier MBTs now actually have target tracking to them. Well, they added it to a few of the vehicles too. Number 1, the Moderna has it. So this vehicle now will have access to the target tracker, and the Al-Khalid and the MBT-2000 also will. But some vehicles got theirs removed, mainly the Leclercs, the T3, the T9, the Azure, and also the T11, the S21. Basically, all the Leclercs lost their target tracker, and that is kind of sad. Also, the Leopard 2A5 for France, they actually fixed the side skirts. Before they were HHRHA, now they are rubble meta screens, which is what they should have been. Talking about Russian vehicles in the Russian tech trees, they've done quite a significant change to the BMD series of vehicles. So you know how we have the BMD4, the BMD4M, and then also the Sinitsa, the 4M2, which is right here. Well, all of them have got their armor profile changed. What they've actually done is added some additional armor to the driver's ports. So this is 70 millimeters worth of alloy PAS1A, and you can see that if you hit it at a slightly wrong angle, it is going up to 200 millimeters or 300 millimeters of effective thickness. So if you're shooting this vehicle, just be very careful of this now driver's cupola area, because what will happen is you will just ricochet shots, and it probably will miss the turret. So this is on all of the BMD4s, by the way. And at the same time, they've added some more armor around the barrel itself, an extra 15 millimeters. So you can see here, this alloy PAS1A once again. So it'll be harder to knock out the guns and harder if you shoot this specific area. The general survivability of the BMDs isn't great. So that's not really why you play these types of things, but understand that now they have this, which is here, and the lower glacis, plus this additional high hard rollness armor. And then also this becomes kind of a weird spot. So, and then this is also very angled. So you got to be super careful when shooting these things. It isn't just kind of a center mass thing anymore. They also changed the BTR-82AT. So this is the new vehicle that is coming in for the Russians. This vehicle, they've once again changed a few things. So the stock NVD for the gunner has been removed. The commander's stock NVD has improved, so it is better than it was previously. And then also you can see the commander optics is basically in line, or at least lower than the gun, which is, it might be the first in history in War Thunder when that's happened. We'll have to see, actually. I'm pretty sure it is. You can also now hide the slat armor, so you have the additional ballistic protection package. So if you don't have that on, then you don't have the slat armor. So you can pick and choose if you want it. And I think that's generally pretty cool. Talking about additional armor, the M1 Abrams, specifically the M1 KVT, this one right here, this vehicle gets a Viz mod because, of course, it is the KVT. The additional mass has gone from 500 kilos to minus 800, which is very, very confusing. Basically, now, if you actually have the Viz mod on, you actually lose weight instead of gaining weight. So my guess is that's a bug, and I'm sure they'll fix that because, you know, once you add more stuff to it, it should add more weight, but for some reason, it does not. The next part I want to talk about is the Hawks. So once again, the Hawks had a huge flight model change when it comes to the dev server, and now once again, they have a pretty big flight model change once again, thanks to the live server. So the wings with raised flaps have completely changed in terms of how they cut through the air, and this is the same with the RDA as well. So just understand that what you may have experienced on the dev server is going to be very different to what you actually find on these vehicles. You can also see the drop tanks here that are on the vehicle, which is quite nice, and generally I think that's kind of cool. Talking about some other changes, the Su-30 Mk2. So this is the new pre-order vehicle. Well, no longer pre-order vehicle, I suppose. The new premium vehicle come in. So the TV size on this vehicle with the thermal has been removed, which is actually a huge change to it, since obviously you have those quite long-range missiles that you could have used in certain scenarios. Well, it's going to be a bit harder to use them now. That sucks. A lot of other vehicles for helicopters also got their HMD gun control re-added. Pretty much all of the Apaches, all of the Cobras, and also many others. So just understand that that is also something that's happening. And at the same time, the AH-64E, which has come in for Britain, or the AH Mark II Apache, as it's actually known in the game, they've changed some of its internal systems. So its RWR now is the Sky Guardian 200-D RWR instead of the ANAPR 39AV4, which is what it was before. Basically what this does is adds band C, removes bands L and M. The baseline's range is 5 kilometers lower, but the number of tracked targets has increased by 2. Its LWS and its more has also changed in name, even though they work exactly the same. So overall, quite a big change to the RWR, but still should be pretty good. One of the cool things about good old China as well is the Z11, which is in the tech tree for them, or maybe not. I can't find it for some reason. But basically the Z11 WA, oh, here it is, sorry. I'm completely blind. The Z11 WA now has an updated cockpit, so they're continuing to be able to add more and more. Oh yeah, I forgot I have this really cool camo for this. But they're continuing to add updated cockpits to all of the different vehicles. You can see here that this one looks really nice for the Z11 WA. I will also say that a lot of the new cockpits that they've added are absolutely stunning as well. I would highly recommend checking out the Ju-188 cockpit, which was added too, because it's just really nice to see. The next change is just a quick one for the Fokker D23. So now you can actually fire the gun separately, which is really cool. and that is quite nice. Talking about the Ju-188, you know how on the dev server, when you were in the cockpit mode, you were able to actually fire the gun from the cockpit itself? Well, now they've changed it back to a turret instead of just a standard nose cannon offensive armament. So you can only use it as a turret now, which kind of sucks because it was cool that you had that multi-functionality. But yeah, they've renamed it now, and that kind of sucks. The Q5L can now take more armaments, basically increasing the max load, which is quite nice. And another thing to also mention is they've changed some things about Aerialistic. So Aerialistic is a game mode that's obviously been in the game for a long time. And if you want to actually set your kind of like preferred missions or unpreferred missions, you can do it here. And you can also ban a map, which is pretty interesting. So what they've done with lower BR maps. So, for example, you have stuff like the Smolensk map, which is right here, which is like a smaller version of it. Maybe you have Lazou Bay, you have stuff like Central Tunisia, and also things like Guadalcanal. What they've done on all of these maps is they've added the new system, well, quote-unquote new system, but the system which was more designed around kind of more modern vehicles, where instead of the 3 bases and the destructible airfield, you have the 4 bases that respawn. So on all of these low-tier RRB maps now, they now have the same system as high-tier. So you have the 4 bases, and you can't destroy the airfield. Previously, what you could do on stuff like, for example, this counteroffensive or the Battle of Khalkhin is you could destroy the bases and then destroy the airfield, and that would just finish the game. And there were certain vehicles where you could do this within literally 5 minutes. The Farman is one of them. I have a video on the channel from way back in the day kind of showing that you could do that. So now, all of the maps that have the bases, they have the 4 bases now, and you can't destroy the airfield, but you can kill the bases as they respawn. So slight difference and bringing everything into the same area. The other thing they've also changed with their RB is battles that are 10.7 plus. They have added ITOs to the airfields. Now, they already kind of did this before the update came out. I saw a bunch of ITOs already while I was grinding out the event. The ITOs are super deadly, so just be very, very careful against these things because they will just wreck your house. So yeah, you can't really see the missiles coming in, and also at the same time, they're deadly accurate. So just be careful when you're around enemy airfields. If you're near the top tiers of the game, you're going to have to do way more maneuverability, and also just make sure you don't just get bonked by these things. They've also changed a few things with Naval. Basically just little guns here and there moving, and also at the same time changing the Brestois, the breaches of it. Not a huge amount of changes to really talk about, but the other change is to actually helicopters. So you know how profile pictures have got added for basically all of the different areas of the game? Well, helicopters have also got their part of the game as well. You can see here the profile icons that they've added. You have to destroy either ground or water targets, 1,000 of them, but in the multipliers SB times 10 and RB times 20. So the multipliers are absolutely huge, and you can grind out basically all of these. So the same as like when they added all the naval ones, you can see them like over here, and then they also added some ground ones and some other ones. It just means that you can just get these done. And it's one of those nice things where you can just grind out more and more stuff. And it will happen passively as you use more helicopters. And if you are a person who enjoys helicopters, it's really cool that they've decided to do that. Another thing also about the Jaguar to mention, so I should have mentioned this previously, the autocannon, they've actually added the variable fire rate. So they've also added a ability to change the fire rate for 80 RPM. So you can actually move it around. This is something that's available for a few vehicles already in the game, but people just don't really use it. And that is just one of those things that kind of exists. They've also changed the cost of the Hawk as well. So just to, once again, just make sure to cover everything. The Hawk 200 RDA is now 350,000 RP. You can see it right here. And also they've changed some of the components in terms of its modification. It's going to be 300,000 RP to grind out, which is just absolutely crazy. Another thing to also mention is they've added all of the different camos for this update as well, or at least the ones that, you know, are available. You can check them out all here. If you have a specific vehicle that you are interested in, make sure to check out these areas. They've added pretty much camos for all of the planes and also all of the other vehicles that have been added. One of the cool ones, at least for me, is with China, with their Oplot. They have kind of a cool skin now, and you can much more easily be able to kind of find them as you look through the profile too. This is the digital camouflage for the Oplots, which is the squadron vehicle that's come in for the Chinese, the Pakistani one, the quadricolor, and also the unicolor, which exists too. So yeah, check out your favorite camos. I'm sure there'll also be a camo box, since there's always like a camo box with these things, and also just kind of look forward to it, right? Like you can see here, the Tornado IDS SLE, which they didn't reduce its BR on, by the way. It has the lovely kind of festival camouflage, which is cool to see too. So yeah, just make sure to check them all out. If you're interested in that stuff, it's always kind of nice grinding out camos and doing all the types of things for that. And all I can say is thank you for watching. It's been a pretty busy period of time when it comes to the dev server. And I just want to say thank you for watching all the videos. Thank you for being involved when it comes to the community stuff. And hopefully, as always, you have a wonderful day. Hopefully everything goes well for you, you have a good week, and you enjoy the update. And also, they've updated the engine sounds of this thing. So now it doesn't sound like a helicopter, or it doesn't sound silent. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.